Carolina, and welcome to the spring edition of W-OLGC-TV News. We are so glad spring is here. Now let's go to Lewis with nursery and pre-K, and he's going to tell us how they celebrated their St. Patrick's Day.
That's right, Carolina. The kids in nursery and pre-K very much enjoyed their shamrock shake. They are learning about God's creation all around them and numbers 1 through 5. They are also learning about seasons and how it will change from winter to spring throughout March. The pre-kindergartners are working on letters N through U this month. They will talk about spring and everything that comes with the new season. They're keeping a chart to see how many days are like lions and how many days are like lambs. They are working on God's gift in religion and life in science. On St. Patrick's Day, they got to spot a leprechaun. The kindergartners had a busy March too. They celebrated Dr. Seuss Day and the 100th day of school and enjoyed lots of activities. The students are also learning about Lent and trying hard to keep their Lenten promises, Carolina.
I hear you, Lewis. I'm trying to keep my Lenten promises too. Now let's go to Sydney with 1st and 2nd grade. I hear they're doing some pretty cool things, right, Sydney?
That's correct, Carolina. The 1st and 2nd graders are learning about cool and exciting things, including natural resources and trees. The 2nd grade are working on regrouping and subtracting numbers in math. In science, they are working on weather and what happens when it occurs. Sounds like it was good timing because spring just started. In religion, they are working on chapter 17 of their First Communion book. And Carolina, the 2nd graders are so excited for their First Communion, and it's not long now.
I remember my First Communion. That was a special time. Now let's go to Alexa with 3rd grade. I hear they have a lot on their plate, right, Alexa?
That's right, Carolina. In 3rd grade, they are reading school days. They should be studying their spelling words every night. In math, they will be learning about place value, all the operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. A large part of our time will be spent on multiplication and division. It is very important that your child memorizes the multiplication facts. In religion, they are learning about the church. Their teachers believe it is very important that the children participate in the Mass each weekend in order to practice and understand what they are learning. In social studies, the 3rd grade are exploring communities. Students will be taught how to study the vocabulary words by making flashcards. For science, they are studying life science, physical science, earth science, and the human body. The kids are also really excited about spring.
Don't I know it? We are all so tired of the snow. Speaking of snow, the 4th graders are reading Tolliver's Secret. Doesn't that take place in the winter, Pat?
That's right, Carolina. The kids will start reading the book by the end of March. In math, the students need to practice their multiplication facts. In ILA, the students have spelling pretest every Monday. They read a story from their Storytime reader and get assigned vocab for each lesson. Just a reminder, Carolina, the students should also practice reading with their parents for fluency.
That's a smart idea. That will get them ready for 5th grade. Speaking of 5th grade, I hear they're taking a virtual field trip to Mars.
That's right, Carolina. The kids in 5th grade are really using their imagination to eventually build a colony on Mars. The kids are busy building rockets, planting crops, and gathering lots of facts for their colony. The colony will be built by the year 2030. In math, the students are learning about ratios and unit rates. In religion, they are learning about the sacrament of reconciliation. In ILA, they're writing binders and learning about persuasive writing. In science, the 5th graders are doing a jelly bean experiment for the rock cycle. It is really interesting. That's it for 5th grade this week.
That sounds like a lot. Now let's go live with Megan for Man on the Street interviews, interviewing 2nd graders on their first penance.
Thanks, Carolina. Hi, I'm Megan, and I'm going to interview some 2nd graders from their penance. Hello, Jenny. Hello, Jack. So you both received your penance a few weeks ago, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. How did you feel before you received it, Jenny? Pretty nervous. Jack?
Pretty nervous.
Now, how did you feel afterwards? Better.
Much better.
And you both received lamps during the homily, right?
Yes.
I believe that means that they are the children of God. That's all from the 2nd grades from learning about their penance.
Hi, I'm Nathan Menace here with Man on the Street interview. We're here to talk to Matt Buckley, Jake Snyder, and Christian Foster. What do you like to St. Patty's Day? How do you guys like St. Patty's Day?
Well, I really liked it because of all the big hats, where everybody's enthusiastic.
I like St. Patrick's Day because I'm Irish and I like all the hats, the green
and I'm happy that they donated money to Mrs. McKinney's nephew because of his red grades.
I like St. Patrick's Day because everything's green and big hats. Those are Nathan Meredith from W-OLGC News. Back to you.
Thanks, Nathan. I really enjoyed St. Patrick's Day this year. Now let's go over to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade math, where I hear they just enjoyed some pie.
Actually, Carolina, it's not that type of pie, but the students did celebrate Pie Day and they had a lot of fun. The students celebrated by bringing a treat that was round to measure and then could later eat. It was fun and a great way to teach pie. Just a reminder that students in 6-2 will need a compass and protractor for some upcoming group work. The kids in 6-1 and 7-2 just finished a lesson on circles and now they're doing a lesson on polygons. 8-1 is learning algebra and just had a chapter test. Math has sure been interesting for the upper grades. I can't wait to tell you what they're learning next.
I can't wait either. Now let's go to Carly with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade science. I hear they're getting dirty.
They sure are. The 6th graders are learning about weathering, erosion, and soil.
They recently did a soil lab. Students will be searching through soil with a magnifying glass to see what kinds of organic matter are inside their soil. Sounds fun. The 7th graders are learning biology. We hope it's not too hard. 8th graders are learning about space.
They're talking about the solar system and how Earth spins on its axis.
That sounds circular. Now, speaking of circular motion, isn't that how clocks move?
Yep, in 6th grade ILA, it's all about time travel. They are reading The Man Who Made Time Travel in their storytime books.
6th grade is also learning about adjectives and verbs. 7th grade just finished reading The Outsiders and are now watching the movie. They are also working on glogs and prezzies based on the book in computer class. 8th graders are reading The Lady and the Tiger and are learning about adverbs.
Those books sound so interesting. I love to read, don't you, Carolina?
I love to read too. Now let's go over to Owen with Jim. I hear they're playing some crazy new game that I've never heard of.
Yes, Carolina. It's called shoot ball and it's from the 1950s. It's a sport you do indoors that is aggressive and fast-paced using your hands. With spring coming up, we'll be playing baseball, softball, lacrosse, tennis, badminton, and more. And what's Mr. Walsh's favorite sport? Baseball.
He's been doing it for a long time.
Well, he sounds experienced. Speaking of experience, let's go to Callie with specials. I hear those kids are getting really experienced in computers.
That's right, Carolina. In 2nd grade, the students are writing book reviews.
The 3rd graders are researching inventions. Speaking of inventions, the 5th graders are coming up with their own inventions. The 4th graders are starting their under the sea PowerPoints. The 7th graders just finished their Glocksters and are about to start their prezzies. The 6th and 8th graders are researching famous women since March is National Women's History Month. In Spanish, the 3rd graders are learning classroom commands. The 4th graders are going to start their menu projects. The 5th grade is jumping into Spanish culture and made posters that are hanging out in the computer hallway. The 6th graders are conjugating AR verbs. The 7th graders are learning about Sir versus Esther.
That's all that's going on in specials, Carolina.
That sounds fun, Callie. Thanks. That's all the time we have for our spring edition of W-OLGC-TV News. Thanks for watching.